Hello, and welcome to today's Focus on the Test mini lesson. Welcome to all of our subscribers, and thank you very much for joining us. Also to our students, continue the excellent progress that you're making, and remember that your labor is not in vain. It will pay off in the end. If you're an adult seeking to earn your high school credential, be sure to check out our website at www.yourpathforadultlearners.com, where you can learn more about our online GED and HiSET program. So now on to our lesson for the day.
Hello everyone, I hope everyone is doing fantastic. In this particular presentation, I'm actually going to discuss how to write an effective essay. I want to review with you what components you need to make sure that you include when you are writing your essay. And this is an argumentative essay, so you will be required to look at two articles, and you will be required to analyze the two articles and take a position in terms of which article or what position of the topic you support, okay? So in your essay, you're going to have 5 paragraphs. Your first paragraph is going to be your introduction. Your introduction consists of a hook, the background information, and your position statement. In your position statement, you're going to have your 3 reasons for why you took the position that you took, either for or against the topic. Then you're going to have your body, the body of your essay. And the body of your essay consists of 3 paragraphs. You're going to have the first paragraph, which is going to introduce your main idea number 1, which will be stated in your position statement. And you want to make sure that you present your main ideas in the same order in which they are presented in your position statement. And then paragraph number 2 is going to be your second main idea that you'll be presenting from your position statement. Then the third paragraph of your body would be your counter-argument and your rebuttal. The counter-argument is the other side of the argument or the other position that you did not take. You want to present their argument, and then you are going to rebuttal their argument by going back to the position that you take and why you are still against the other side of the argument based on your rebuttal. Okay, and then you're going to have your conclusion, which is the closing paragraph of your essay. And in your conclusion, you want to restate your main ideas. You're stating them, but you're stating them differently. That is restating your main idea and then summarizing everything that you wrote in your essay, pretty much. Okay, so now let's talk about those components separately as we look at each of the paragraphs of your essay. Enroll in YourPath today and get access to what our students get access to daily. Get access to online personalized GED, HiSET, and TABE courses, 24 hours, 7 days a week, individualized instructional guidance and a progress plan, study workbooks, learning materials and tools to reinforce your learning, tutoring, cap and gown, diploma cover, certificate of completion, test fees reimbursement, professional career academic coaching from IFC certified coaches, and next step services. Enroll today. YourPath wants to take a moment to congratulate its 2022 graduates. Congratulations, graduates, a job very well done. We are looking forward to more graduates. You still have time. 2022 is not over yet. We have a few mid-year announcements. Congratulations to Mr. Antone on earning perfect HiSET scores in social studies and science. Congratulations, Mr. Antone, a job very well done. Welcome to our new board members, Dr. Jones, Vice Chairman, Dr. Moulton, Secretary, Dr. Berkeley, Committee Member, and Dr. Haley, Committee Member. Welcome to our new board members. Welcome back from summer break, YourPath students. We are glad to have you back. We hope that you have enjoyed your summer. It is now time to get back to business, so let us all get ready for testing. Your path would like to take this opportunity to say happy birthday to all of our students born in the month of August. We are wishing you a happy birthday and may you see many more to come. Now, this is one of our students' essays, and I'm going to use this particular essay to actually guide you through the essay writing process. So let's look at the introduction, which is the first paragraph of the essay. Here we have her hook, okay? Her hook. The hook can be a question. It could be a quote. It could be the expert opinion of someone, okay? But you want to include your hook, which is going to then transition into the background information about your topic, okay? So we're going to highlight the hook, and we will just highlight this blue, okay? That's her hook. She actually asked a question. Now, the topic is, should more gun control laws be enacted? That's the topic. For her hook, she wrote, why not make it harder for individuals to buy guns? Okay, that's the hook. Now she's going into her background information about the topic, and the background information is just historical information that you know about the topic. This could be information that you have heard on the news about the topic, discussions that you have had in your community about the topic, and it's some information that you already know about the topic, which is considered your background information. She wrote as her background information, gun control laws are a highly debated issue in America. There has been an increase in the number of gun violence cases in the United States. And this ongoing debate, now, she is going into her position statement here, so I'm going to hold out there. Now, as you see, for her background information, she just wrote 2 sentences to give some background relevance about the topic, okay? So we're going to highlight this a different color because we want that to be the background information and we want to highlight it, okay? So that's her background information. 2 simple sentences. Now she's going into her position statement. In this ongoing debate, it is apparent that the proponent's argument, these are individuals for the argument, proponent's argument is much stronger than the opponent's argument because now she's going into the reasons for why she believes that the proponent's argument is much stronger, and this is the position that she has taken on the argument. She is for those who are arguing for gun control, okay? And it is apparent because that's how she started off her statement. It is apparent that the proponent's argument is much stronger, letting me know as the evaluator of her essay that that is the position that she's taking on the topic, okay? So we're going to highlight that. This is her position statement here, okay? And we're going to highlight it yellow. Now, by using the word transition, it lets me know as the evaluator of her essay that she's now going into her main ideas, which are also considered her main reasons, and I should see 3 of them, okay? Clearly stated. You always want to have your 3 reasons clearly stated for your reader to know exactly why it is that you are taking the position that you're taking. And here we have, because they prove that guns are the leading cause of death in children. That's point number 1. We're going to highlight it pink. Number 2, they increase the number of mass shootings in the United States. That's number 2. And number 3. And contribute to accidents, suicides, and homicides. Okay? And that's number 3. So now, as the evaluator, as I continue to read her essay, I should see those 3 points discussed in her essay in the order in which they were presented. So I should see them discussed in the body of her essay in the order in which they were presented, okay? So here, we're moving now into the body of the essay. I should see transitions as she moves throughout her essay, okay? So here she has a transition, the word firstly. In her second paragraph, she has the transition secondly. And then in her counter argument and her rebuttal, she also has transitions there. Now, firstly and secondly are commonly used transitions. I do not suggest that you reinvent the wheel, especially since you're testing. You want to make sure that you just have transitions in your essay and that you are familiar with the commonly used transitions and where to place them, okay? So here we have, firstly, the proponent's argument is stronger than the opponent's argument because. Now she lets me know as the evaluator of her essay, I am analyzing these two positions, okay? So she makes that very clear. That's why she says, again, she re-emphasizes her position. The proponent's argument is stronger than the opponent's argument because, and now she's moving into her first main idea, also known as her first reason, right? They prove guns are the leading cause of death in children. That is exactly what she stated in her position statement, which I also see as the first sentence in her main idea number 1 paragraph of her body, okay? It is also in the same order as it is presented in her position statement. That's how I should see it. It goes back to the organization of your essay. So you want to make sure that your essay is fluent and it is consistent because that goes back to the organization of your essay. Now she's going to present her textual evidence. She is transitioning into her textual evidence. When you transition into your textual evidence, you can use for instance, for example, okay? But you want to use transitions that present evidence, okay? So here she has, for instance, the proponents state that give me 1 second, okay? So now let's look at how she's going to present her textual evidence. She states, for instance, which is a transition, the proponents state that a study in the New England Journal of Medicine found that firearms were the second leading cause of death for children, responsible for 15% of child deaths, okay? As you see that her textual evidence is actually in quotation marks, letting me know as the evaluator that this is textual evidence that she took directly from the article, okay? So she has to use quotation marks to indicate that to me. She also used a citation, putting the number 2 in parentheses, letting me know where that information can be found in the text, and it can be found in paragraph number 2, okay? So this is her textual evidence, and you must have textual evidence in your essay, okay? It is required to support your main idea. You want to have textual evidence, and then you want to explain, which is going to be the third sentence of the paragraph, why it is that this particular piece of textual evidence is relevant to your main idea, okay? So we do see that she has textual evidence here. Now, your textual evidence does not have to be in quotation marks if you are paraphrasing, okay? And that means that you're rewording the text in your own words and you're not taking it directly from the text. You can do it either way. If you take it directly from the text, you want to make sure that you use quotation marks, okay? That's very important. All right, so we're going to highlight this as, let's make this blue. This is going to be the textual evidence. Now, after you present your textual evidence, you have to once again explain how your textual evidence is relevant to your main idea, and she does that. Again, you want to transition into that statement. Here we have, this suggests, I do recommend that you use this evidence suggests, okay? So you want to say this evidence suggests that having strict gun laws could reduce the amount of child fatalities that are occurring at an alarming rate due to gun violence in the United States, okay? That is her explanation for how this piece of textual evidence go back to her main idea that they prove guns are the leading cause of deaths in children, okay? So we're going to highlight her explanation as, let's make this yellow, okay? So I'm going to stay consistent with these colors as I move throughout the paragraphs. Now she's moving into her second body paragraph. She uses a transition here. Again, firstly and secondly are commonly used transitions. I do not suggest that you reinvent the wheel. You can use those transitions and they will be effective. Okay, so here we have secondly. I know that she is moving into her second paragraph by that transition. Okay, so I should look for her to present in her first sentence her second main idea, which is also her second reason for taking the position that she took. Okay, so here we have the proponents have a stronger argument for gun control laws than the proponents, once again letting me know that she's analyzing the two arguments, and she has taken the position of the proponents, okay, because now I know that she's moving into her second main idea. They prove how high capacity magazines have increased the number of mass shootings in the United States, taken directly from her position statement as stated for her main idea number 2. Okay, so I'm going to highlight that pink. I see that she has her main idea number 2 there. Now she's going to transition into textual evidence. Remember, textual evidence can be directly quoted. That means that you are taking the textual evidence directly from the text without changing anything. If you do that, you must have quotation marks. If you take evidence from the text, but you reword it in your own words, that's called paraphrasing, and you do not need quotation marks, okay? That's the difference between the two. Here we see that she used quotation marks, and so that's letting me know as the evaluator of her paper that she took this evidence directly from the text. She states using a transition to present her evidence. She used for example in this particular paragraph. In the first paragraph, she used for instance. Those are the two commonly used transition phrases for presenting textual evidence, okay? So here we have, for example, the proponents claim that when high-capacity magazines were used in mass shootings, the death rate rose 63% and the injury rate rose 156%, okay? Then she also cited where I can find this evidence in the article, and this will be found in paragraph number 3, okay? So again, she cited her source, and she used quotation marks to indicate that she took this directly from the text. Now, in the third sentence of her paragraph, I should see where she explains how the text is relevant to her main idea or her main reason. And she does that. She says this, and again, I suggest you use evidence. This evidence proves that assault weapons such as high-capacity magazine guns contribute to the high death tolls resulting from serious violent crimes, okay? So she presented an explanation. It's one sentence. I do suggest that you keep it simple. You do not need to write a lot. You just need to make sure that you have all of the information or the components that make up a paragraph, okay? So in the body paragraphs, you're going to have your main idea stated in the first sentence. Your second sentence will be your textual evidence, and then your third sentence will be your explanation for why your textual evidence is relevant to your main idea, okay? Also, you want to remember to always cite your source, okay, when you're presenting the textual evidence. Now we are moving to the third paragraph of our body of the essay, and this particular paragraph is a little different than paragraph 1 and 2 of the body. The reason why is because this paragraph consists of your counter-argument and your rebuttal. The counter-argument is the other side of the argument. It is the side that you chose not to take, but you still have to present their side in your essay. You have to let the evaluator of your essay know that you know what that side is arguing, but you still take the other side. And that's where your rebuttal comes in, because you're going to still rebuttal the other side, letting your evaluator know that I still take the other position, and this is the reason why, because you're rebuttaling their side of the argument, okay? So again, you're going to effectively transition into this paragraph. How do we do that? We use phrases like on the contrary. So she's now presenting the other side. On the contrary is the opposite side of the argument. And what does she say there? In that argument, she's going to present their side. She says, opponents believe, which is the opposite side, opponents believe that people are less likely to die by guns in comparison to other common causes of death. All right. So she states their argument, but now she also has to support that argument by textual evidence. Okay. You must present your textual evidence. She does that. She's taking it directly from the text. I know that because she has quotation marks. She doesn't necessarily have to do it that way. She can paraphrase, meaning that she will take the textual evidence, but she's going to reword it. Okay. I will know that because she's going to also use a citation. Whether you use a direct quote or you paraphrase, you must also use a citation. So you must cite your source whenever you're taking textual evidence from another source, right? Now, her textual evidence, she states, she's also going to transition into her textual evidence. She says, they state that, and now I see where she's presenting her textual evidence because it's in quotation marks. According to the CDC's leading causes of death reports between 1999 and 2013, Americans were 21.5 times more likely to die of heart disease. And then she gives the number of 9,691,733 deaths. Okay. And in a quotation mark, and she cited her source, which would be paragraph number 8, is where I, as the evaluator, can view this textual evidence if I needed to do so. Okay. Then she goes on to state, and now she's writing more than she has to write because one sentence is sufficient enough. Okay. I do suggest that you keep it simple. I always say that. If you don't need to write more, then avoid writing as much. Keep it simple because the less you write, the less likely you are to run into errors or make mistakes, okay? In this case, she wrote, and other health ailments as opposed to dying from firearm, whether by accident, homicide, or suicide. Now, this was necessary because she actually added on to this particular statement that she wrote previously, okay? But this is all that she wrote to support the other side, okay, which is her counter argument. I'm going to highlight this in a different color, and we're going to highlight this as, let's see, I'll make this green. Now she's using a transition word to actually move into her rebuttal, going back to her position on the argument, okay, which is the proponent side of the argument. I know that because she's using the transition, however is a transition, and it's an effective transition for a rebuttal to a counter argument, okay? So now she writes for her rebuttal. Proponents have a stronger argument because, once again, re-emphasizing that she believes that they have a stronger argument, letting me know that that is her position on the topic. Because they claim that, now she's using quotation marks to indicate to me that she's taking information directly from the text, which you can do. This is direct information from the text, so she's using quotation marks. She stated there were 572,537 total gun deaths between 1999 and 2016, refuting the data that they presented between the years of 1999 and 2013. Her information goes further, okay? It's up to 2016. And then she says 336,579 suicides, which is 58.8% of total gun deaths. And then she cites her textual evidence. She cites where this information can be found. Now, again, she doesn't have to write so much. One sentence is sufficient as long as you effectively counter-argue. I mean, as long as you effectively rebuttal the counter-argument. But she writes a little bit more. You do not need to write that much, so keep it simple, as I always say. And in 2007, the United States had 12,632 gun homicides, 4.19 deaths per 100,000 people, and 17,352 gun suicides, 5.76 deaths per 100,000 people. And once again, she has this in quotation marks, letting me know that she took this directly from the text, okay? Now, all of this was textual evidence, and this is necessary whenever you are rebuttaling as well. So you have to present some textual evidence that's going to rebuttal your counter argument. Okay. Then she explains the textual evidence that she presented, which is necessary. Okay. Again, you want to say this evidence. Whenever you're presenting textual evidence, you want to say this evidence proves. Okay. That weapon possessions increase gun violence. Therefore, implementing stricter gun laws will reduce gun-related deaths. Okay? So all of this right here is her rebuttal to the counter argument. And I'm going to highlight this in yellow. Okay? All right. So now that's her rebuttal. The counter argument and the rebuttal, as I previously mentioned, make up the third paragraph of your body. It's different than the first and the second paragraph where you're presenting your main reasons 1 and 2, okay? And this one, you have your counter argument and your rebuttal. Then the last paragraph that we have is the conclusion. We want to transition into our conclusion, and your conclusion is where you restate your main ideas by rewording them. That's restating them. And you just summarize basically what you discussed about them. Okay, you summarize them. In summary is a transition into the conclusion paragraph. There are transitions that are designed for certain paragraphs. In summary is for your conclusion. In conclusion is for your conclusion. To conclude is for your conclusion. To sum it up is for your conclusion. Finally is for your conclusion. Overall is also for your conclusion. And those are just some. Our students have a list of transitions that they can reference in their course. All right. So here we have, in summary, the proponents, once again, letting me know that she has taken this stance, their side of the argument, the proponent's side, as the evaluator of her essay. I know this based on how she's presenting the information. The proponent's argument that gun control should be enacted is better supported than the opponent's argument. She reemphasizes that I'm analyzing the two arguments here, and I have taken this stance. Okay. The proponents prove that firearm-related injuries are the leading cause of death in children, along with the rise in mass shootings. In addition, having access to guns contributes to accidents, suicides, and homicides. Since guns cause so much violence, measures to regulate them are necessary. Okay, a simple summary, okay, a simple conclusion, but a conclusion nonetheless. Okay, she has her main ideas in her conclusion. Okay, and we're going to identify them. She has the proponents prove that firearm-related injuries are the leading cause of death in children. This is what she talked about in her position statement, number 1. We're going to highlight that pink. Number 2, along with the rise in mass shootings, she talked about that. In addition, having access to guns contributes to accidents, and she talked about that. Contributes to accidents, suicides, and homicides. Okay? Since guns cause so much violence, measures to regulate them are necessary. And she leaves a thought for her readers so that they can think about the position that she took on this topic as well. Okay? I like to refer to it as a stain on the brain. Okay? We want to leave our reader with something to think about, okay? This is not as strong of a conclusion as it could be, but it is a conclusion nonetheless, okay? So now, once again, To write an effective essay, you want to make sure that you have all of the necessary components that you must have to make up your essay. You want to make sure that you have your introduction. Your introduction should consist of your hook, the background information, and your position statement, which clearly state the reasons or the main ideas for why you're taking your position. And you should have 3 of them. Okay? Then you want to have your body, which has 3 paragraphs. Your first paragraph stating your main idea number 1 in the first sentence, supported by textual evidence, and then the reason for why your textual evidence supports that main idea. And that's your explanation, okay? Your second paragraph is written in the same manner that the first paragraph is written. It only states your main idea number 2, okay? So that's where you will present your main idea number 2, but it should follow the same format of your main idea number 1, which is in the first paragraph. And then paragraph number 3 of the body is your counter argument and your rebuttal. The counter argument is the other side of the argument. You want to clearly state what it is that they're arguing. You want to present textual evidence to support their argument. And then you want to transition back into your position, okay, as you rebuttal their argument, okay? And doing that, you also want to present effective textual evidence to rebuttal their argument, and you want to include your explanation of why your textual evidence is effective in terms of arguing against their position. And then you have your conclusion of your essay, which is the last paragraph of your essay, and that's paragraph number 5. And your conclusion, you should transition into your conclusion. Make sure you have those effective transitions in the places where they belong, okay? And in your conclusion, you are restating your main points or your main ideas, also known as your main reasons, and you're summarizing what you wrote in your essay, okay? Always make sure that your last sentence leaves a stain on your reader's brain, okay? You want to leave something to make your reader think about what it is that you talked about in your essay as it pertains to your position on the topic, okay? I hope that this information has helped you. I'm sure it will help our students as they are required to write in this manner in preparing for their essay writing exam. Have a blessed day.
So good luck testing. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and hit the notification button down below so that you're notified on our new releases. Also, join us on our other social media platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.